This is the gentleman that's batting cleanup. He's the former Attorney General of the great state of Arizona. He's one of Mesa's own, and he's a good friend of mine, and he was kind enough to take time out of his incredibly busy schedule to stop off and see us this morning. How about a big round of applause for Mr. Grant Woods? Welcome,
Hello, sir. How are you?
Sir. Did you like I Really Gotta Go, Daddy?
That was good.
Okay.
That was good. Yeah, you know, if you were in baseball, you'd be in the Hall of Fame because 3 out of 10 of those were great.
The other 7 were just mediocre to make the other 3 look good.
That's true. That was good. That was a good move. No, that was good. Good stuff. You got the best guy here. Mark Cordes is one of the funniest. Yeah, really.
Grant is very kind. We had a lot of fun. Grant had a internet-driven web show, podcast, whatever.
I don't know what it was.
We don't know what it was.
We had fun, though.
But we had fun doing it for a couple of years. Right. So I consider you a friend. Thanks for coming by. I know your schedule changes constantly. You're always. You were in Italy, France. Where, are you on the run, or what's going on?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm kind of I'm an Italy fan. Yeah. So I've been going there quite a bit over the years, and I'm trying now to, with all this education talk, I think I may be able to teach a class. This is a tough offer. See if you like this. I could teach a law class in Florence for a month, and they would pay you and put you up, and I'm thinking that over.
Now you're talking about Italy, not where the prison is.
Yeah. You know what?
Because this Florence, you have a lot of former clients there.
No. They're not former clients. We were in court at the same time, but we were on the opposite sides there. I actually had a guy come up to me. I won't say where now, since this is on TV. But a guy came up to me. He was working at this place, and he said, "Hey, you're Grant Woods, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I just want to shake your hand. Yeah, you did a great job as Attorney General, and we kind of ran into each other a little bit." Really? And he said, "Yeah, I was going through a tough time. I was doing a lot of bad things, and you prosecuted me, but you were very fair, and you sent me to prison, but I turned my life around, and so I wanted to thank you."
Wow.
Holy cow. That was weird.
And you said, "Thank you, Congressman."
I did. How did you know? Yeah, that's
awesome.
right.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Now, I know you grew up here. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Westwood High.
Any other Westwood?
Of course. Yeah.
And the cameraman did a little.
There you go. All right. War Eagle. Yeah. I went to Westwood. I grew up right down the street. I went to Lincoln Elementary, and then my parents did a little Jefferson's routine. They'd moved that way, and they moved north. My dad built a house over there in his spare time. He was a construction guy growing up, and he built his own house, so we moved over there. And then I went to Emerson, Carson, and Westwood, right down the line there. Every 3 years, I got a little closer to home.
And then you went to ASU.
I went to Occidental College in Los Angeles. Bob Robb, who writes for the paper, if you see Robert Robb there, Bob also went to Westwood. We were buddies in high school. Walked to school for a while, and then we drove to school when we got a car, and then we went over to college together and have remained lifelong friends. And he's a very influential guy writing for the newspaper, so there's another Westwood warrior. The President of the United States went to Occidental College. Some of us are thrilled about that, some of us not so much. Jack Kemp, one of my heroes, he went to Oxy. Anyway, a lot of great people went to Oxy, and then I came back to Arizona State Law School.
Very cool. Well, you know what, and Grant's a modest guy, but I know that if you live in Mesa, have you seen the Grant Woods Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, right
That's
down
very
the street.
Cool. Yeah.
Right down the street.
Is it really? Is it right down here?
Mm-hmm, right down the street. It's very close to where I grew up, for the first 10 years or so. And if you haven't checked out the Boys and Girls Club, you should. I think Eric is here, who runs the Boys and Girls Club. There he is, right in the front row. And it's a great club. the way that happened was just like how everything happens. People out there in this audience make things happen. And there was one particular person with the Boys and Girls Club who told me literally on a daily basis, because I saw him playing basketball, why do you live in your own hometown and it is the largest city in the United States without a Boys and Girls Club? How can you live with yourself? How can you do that? And he did that relentlessly. And finally I gave in. And we just got a group of people together and we said, let's start, we got to start a Boys and Girls Club here. And now you flash forward and it's one of the biggest clubs in the state. A great club. We also have the Mesa Arts Academy there. That's exciting, I think, as well. My idea there was we'd already started the Boys and Girls Club. We get the kids after school. We thought, well, what about during the day? You know, that's where most of the action is. And a lot of these kids, as time went on, were not finishing school. And so how do we get them excited? And how could we get them in a safe, positive environment? And so it was right when charter schools started here. I was Attorney General at the time, the mid-90s. And I went to the Mesa leadership of the Mesa Public Schools, Jim Zaharis, Dave Eagleberger. I didn't want us to be competition. I wanted us to complement each other. And they said, you know what, we'll help you. Let's do it. You start it. You have to be president of the school board. I said, well, you know, I'm kind of busy. I'm Attorney General. The office is in Phoenix. Well, that's the deal. So that's what we did. And we started the Mesa Arts Academy, and it's K through 8. And those kids, who are primarily Boys and Girls Club kids, a lot of at-risk kids, a lot of kids who start school not speaking English. Our theory was and is they can do anything that any other kids can do. They just need a chance. They just need some teachers who will pay attention to them and a quality, safe environment. And those kids are scoring at some of the highest levels in the state, right down there at the Mesa Arts Academy. So it's very exciting.
That's very
so
cool.
a lot of things have, Mesa's been a leader in many, many ways over the years. Mesa kind of gets little shots, you know, oh, Mesa, sleepy Mesa. I got news for people. Mesa has been a place of families where you can raise families, where you can grow your business, and when you want to go and have some flash, then you can go into these other towns who want to do that. Mesa did this by choice. We could have done anything anybody else did, but we decided, how about if we have a place where you can enjoy the big city and everything around us, but you can also have quality neighborhoods, quality schools, quality religious environment, and have a family atmosphere to raise children in. So I think we got it all in Mesa. So people who don't like it, you know, that's their problem.
Exactly.
And here we are on a Friday morning at a beer distributorship in Mesa. It's not bad.
What a country.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
What a country.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? We could talk about it. We've spent hours on the radio talking, so I know we could talk forever, but I'm just going to hit you with some topics and just kind of let you run with it.
All right.
We got to talk about politics.
Sure.
Let's talk about nationally first. Mm-hmm. What's your take on where we are right now?
Well,
we're less than 2 months out.
Right. The race is extremely close. I think it's close pretty much across the board. It's interesting, you don't have that many people who are undecided, but if you look at the swing states, there are some states, most states are already in the book for one candidate or another. Arizona is going to go for Romney. California and New York are going to go for Obama. That's why you haven't seen one ad in Arizona for Romney or Obama. They're not going to waste their money here. But there are a group of states there that are up for grabs. If you do the math, it's a little more difficult for Romney to win than it is for the president. And if you look at today, the president is slightly ahead in more states than Romney is. So if the election were held today and those polls are accurate, the president would be reelected. But looking at it, it's pretty much up for grabs. I mean, it's very, very close. So in a nutshell, I would say that I support Governor Romney. This is not a difficult call for me. at all. This is where I'm at. And I am known as someone who is, you know, crossed party lines many times, and I would. I've picked the best person. It's a radical concept. You have two people, maybe you pick the best person. I know that's crazy, but that's how I've always looked at it. You know, I could really care less, ultimately, whether they're Republican or Democrat. I'm going to pick the best person. This one is not close for me. Just as I have to say, to my Mesa friends out there, I could not vote for George W. Bush for re-election. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand John Kerry. He was one of my least favorite guys, and I pushed his button because I thought that President Bush did not deserve to be reelected. Now I've alienated everyone in the crowd, but that's how I felt, and I don't think President Obama deserves to be reelected either with his miserable performance, despite his rhetoric. Having said that, it's right now slight lead for him. For Romney to win, he has to win Florida, period. He has to win Ohio, probably. I'm assuming he's going to lose Pennsylvania. He's going to lose Michigan. That means then that he'll probably lose Wisconsin. That means if he loses those, he's going to have to win Virginia. He's going to have to win North Carolina. He'll have to win either Iowa or New Hampshire. He'll have to win either Nevada or Colorado. That's kind of how it looks. So if you're looking at the polls, what I would look at would be how is Florida going and how is Ohio going? I think Romney can win Florida. Ohio is tough. It's tough if Michigan and Wisconsin and Illinois and Pennsylvania all go for Obama, and yet Ohio is supposed to go for Romney. So we'll see how it goes. But as we've seen in the last couple of days, current events can also change things. They changed the last election. McCain had a shot at that at the end, but you know, then we had this economic calamity. So I think it's, will the debates matter? Everybody says, oh, it's going to all be on the debates. I'm not so sure about that. They matter to me. I mean, probably to most of us who are interested in these things, we say, oh yeah, those debates, man, I'm going to be glued to the set, and whoever, I think that guy barely won. You know, he was good. The other guy, I think he won. Most people really don't care about that. I'm sorry to say. They should care. I don't think it matters that much. I think, lastly, the president, a negative side for the president is he had really strong turnout from a few constituencies last time that generally don't turn out. Young people, African Americans, Latinos. Okay? I think he will do very well in those three demographic groups again. He will dominate. However, will they come out? I don't know. Young people generally don't come out. You know, old people come out. You know, you go out to Sun City right now, and they've got Election Day circled. You know, this is what's happening in November. It's the only thing on their calendar. Young people, they're like, when is that? When's the election? I'm not sure. You know, so I wouldn't want to be betting my career that young people are going to show up. They did last time. Will they this time? I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the vice president debates. I'm going to pop some popcorn and sit back and cackle at that one, I think. But
I'm a big fan of Congressman Ryan. I think he's great. I actually like Joe Biden personally. I know him a little bit. He's really a good guy. That's going to be a good debate. They're two different styles. I know who I'm going to think won. I'm going to think that Ryan won because I agree with Ryan. That's how it works. This is like in school, all these new schools we have in Mesa. Who are your best professors? Do you have any professors or teachers in your life you can remember where you go, that guy was great. He gave me a bad grade, but I thought that guy was great. No. The best teachers are the ones who gave you the good grades, all right? You know? The people coaches were the ones who said you were great and put you in the starting lineup. That's how it works. I'm going to think Ryan did well, but don't count Biden out, you know?
I got all bad grades, and I was homeschooled. So
that's a problem. That's a problem.
What, on a more local level, what do you think, what's happening in Arizona politically?
Yeah, well, you know, I think we have an interesting Senate race. That's one to watch. A poll came out this week showing it even, which was kind of surprising. But the Democratic candidate is a very impressive guy, and people should give him a look. I think I've got nothing but positive things to say about Dr. Carmona. He's got an amazing resume. He was Surgeon General under George W. Bush. So he's worked across party lines before. He's not your typical Democrat, meaning the people you see at the Democratic convention. He's much more conservative than that. I'm supporting Congressman Flake, but I think Carmona is going to give him a run for his money because he's a really good candidate. What else? The sheriff's up for re-election for like the 90th time, I don't know. That poll came out on that this week showing that race could be close. Unfortunately, there's an independent running, and I say unfortunately for those who don't support the sheriff. I would be one of those. I don't support him anymore. I worked with him when I was Attorney General. He was fine then, but even the best comedy acts go stale. And I didn't mean to look at you for that.
Yeah. We can edit that out, right?
Yeah. But there's an independent in the race. He's polling, 8% or something, and that normally would be meaningless. But if you're trying to knock off an incumbent, 8%, that kind of kills things. So we'll see how that goes. Arpaio also has something like $3 million he's going to spend in the next 7 weeks. So if you like him, that'll be great for you to be able to watch all those commercials. I'm going to be working my DVR, so I can just go right through those. That's an interesting race. Governor Brewer, I think there's an article coming up on her that she has kind of achieved rock star status amongst conservative Republicans around the United States. She is actually amazingly popular when she goes and speaks places around the country amongst, again, very conservative Republicans. So that's kind of interesting as well to see that phenomenon going on. So.
Well, keeping it local, I know you're a huge, you're very well versed politically, but you're a huge sports fan. I see you all the time. I can't afford to go to the Diamondbacks games, but I watch you sitting right behind the, in the good seats, and I go, did you forget my phone number?
Right, let's go. Yeah, we should.
No, you're a huge sports fan. What do you think of that? It's going to be really tough to replace the face of the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
The gorilla.
Sick. Yeah, the gorilla, yeah. No.
He's retiring, you know that?
Yeah.
They're holding auditions for the new gorilla.
I think there have been several gorillas over the years. Years. They're generally kind of gymnasts. I arrested the gorilla once when I was Attorney General. They had those things, like the American Cancer Society, and they had me dress up like a cowboy, and you're going to arrest the gorilla to kick this thing off. So it was in June. And the gorilla's a really nice guy. It's odd because they don't talk, so it's kind of hard to interact and do a bit with them when they don't talk. You've had guests like that, I'm sure, monosyllabic. Well, this is, no syllables. So anyway, it was in June, and I went and I arrested the guy, and I had to, go around the gorilla, and he smelled so bad. He smelled like a gorilla. I said, hey, you're taking this too far. You're not supposed to smell like a gorilla. And he did talk. It's the only time I've heard him. He goes, season's almost over. I'm getting it dry cleaned. Christmas. Get it?
So
you
arrested the Phoenix Suns gorilla.
Yeah.
I
also married someone performed the ceremony at halftime of a game, which I was criticized for that. Like, you're devaluing the institution of marriage, because the gorilla had the ring and he came down from the rafters. I said, look at these two. You think they devalue it on their own. I don't need to, they'd won some contest or something, so they got to be married at halftime.
Well, give me your prediction on the kind of...
Suns are going to be terrible. I mean, it's a disgrace. I can't believe it. And it's just like you remember where you were 9/11 and when Kennedy was assassinated. And I remember where I was on July 4th at 5 p.m. when I was texted, Steve Nash is going to the Lakers. I said, oh my God, are you kidding? I mean, I prepared myself that he was going to leave us, but not to the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's sick. I don't know. It's not good. I mean, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to win any games.
Now, you're involved in something with the Coyotes too, right?
The Coyotes, yeah. I've been involved in that mess for a long time. Right now, as we speak, today's the day. They have to either get something done or risk losing Shane Doan, who is the captain of the Coyotes and the face of the franchise. It's just a very difficult deal to put together, and the NHL's kind of messed up right now because they have a lockout pending. The basic deal is Shane Doan needs to, in the new deal for players, you probably aren't going to be able to have very lucrative long-term contracts. And so that expires, I think, tomorrow, the current one. So if he doesn't sign today or tomorrow, then he will go under the new deal. And so it'd be crazy. As loyal as he has been to the Phoenix Coyotes, which is unbelievable that he's waited this long, if it doesn't get done, then I would think he would have to leave.
If he goes to the Lakers, it's your fault.
Hopefully he won't go to the Kings, but everyone keeps going to the Dodgers. Same thing in baseball. The Dodgers, they spend $220 million on players in one day. Really? Oh, God. But it hasn't worked out too well for them.
No, that's
awesome.
That's the beautiful
thing. It really is. It really is. I hate to rub it in, but it's too bad.
Well, you know what? Let's pretend you have a crystal ball here. What do you think the outlook is for the state of Arizona, Mesa in particular? I know it's still your hometown, and you very fondly look back on your time here in Mesa. What do you think? What's the future
I'm impressed
hold?
with Mesa. And look, I've always, even when I was Attorney General, you're not supposed to say these things. I'm very blunt about my views. Okay, I've always banked on the idea. I grew up with Barry Goldwater, and then John McCain when I worked with him here, and I just think there is a market in politics. Not that I'm in politics anymore, for people who would just say what they think. Because politicians, I don't know I have not figured out where they go to learn how to speak like a politician. But you can tell immediately this guy is full of it, since we're on TV. And it's almost all of them. They talk in these talking points, and it's crazy. So, Mesa, I think Mesa had great opportunities right after I left, when we had our big boom here. And I think a lot of those were missed, frankly. We had such growth out here in Mesa and in the East Valley. We probably could have created whatever we wanted to. And it didn't really work that way. The way it worked, in my view, was one project at a time would come up. And you say, well, what about that one? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, okay, we'll go for that one. And then another one would come up. And you wake up, and as we all know, time goes by pretty quickly. And 20 years goes by, and then you've got a city. And it is what it is. It isn't necessarily what you envisioned you wanted it to be. It is one little piece at a time. Here it is, okay? And then things slow down, and you don't have that luxury anymore, picking and choosing. So it's been a challenge, I think. I think Mesa missed a lot of opportunities. Having said that, leadership counts. That's one thing I really have learned over the years. It counts for the United States of America, as the last 4 years have shown. It counts for the state, and it counts for cities. I didn't appreciate that much when I was AG. Mayors count, and I've noticed that. A strong mayor is important to a city. And Mesa has a strong mayor now. I really think that Mayor Smith has done a remarkable job. And I always, I grew up with him in a sense, in the same basic time period. We have a lot of things in common. His dad was superintendent of schools when I was here. And so I had high hopes for him, but he's far succeeded, I think, people's expectations. And so you see, for example, with this education initiative, and the whole city council, I should say, it's a team effort here. And they're all on board on this. But this education initiative is fantastic. That's a great idea. That's saying, okay, look, we've got some issues here. We need to attract people. We need to attract the right kind of people. We've got some properties that we would like to, we got to deal with. How do we do it? And they came up with a plan. They went out. They're implementing the plan. That's great. That's just one of many, many things they're doing. So it makes a difference. When Mesa's doing great things like that, people are attracted to Mesa, and Mesa can blossom. And we can still keep in Mesa our great strengths, which, as I said, I think is that it's always been a great place to raise a family. And we should not lose sight of that. That should be the strength here that attracts people here, along with the other opportunities that you can create. So I feel good about that. As far as Arizona in general, I think Arizona in general, not so much. I think leadership counts there too. And I think the legislature has been a real problem, frankly. And I give Governor Brewer a lot of credit for the things she's been able to do despite the legislature. But you can't continue to have a poor education system. You can't continue to just not do the things to revitalize the business environment and expect that you will compete anymore. In other words, it's not 1970 anymore. People aren't going to just come to Arizona because we're a great place to live. Other places make it very attractive. We're going to have to make this the best place in the world to do business. So, one of the reasons I don't support the president is I don't think he has any conception of business and what it takes to run a business and how the business community even works. In fact, I think he's kind of predisposed against the business community. In Arizona, we're going to have to say, here's the areas we want to excel in, and we're going to have to make it happen. Go out, whatever we've got to do to attract the best businesses here and to keep them here. That means it's going to mean low taxes. It's going to mean cutting a lot of red tape here and getting the government out of our hair when you're trying to do business. And it's going to mean educating people so that people will want to move here and put their kids in our public schools, and you'll have a workforce. So I think we've got a long ways to go. And if we don't do that in Arizona, then I think we're going to continue to slide. And make no mistake about it, we have been sliding. And that would be a shame. So here you have Mesa, I think, rising up, but the rest of the state, pockets here and there, but not so much.
You know, I wish you could stay longer. We've got to wrap this thing up. I've got a flight to catch, and I got this deal with US Air. If I'm not there, they just leave without me.
That's amazing. It's amazing, yeah.
But would you love to see Grant come back maybe sometime in the future? That'd be awesome.
Thanks.
I know we've got a bunch of questions that we'd love to have the time to ask and for you to answer, but maybe we'll do it again on another time when you get back from Florence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know, I found myself, I was in Florence, Italy 1 week, and the next week I was in Florence, Arizona. I had to depose a prisoner, and I thought, oh my God, what a difference a week makes. Welcome to Florence, because that place, that's not booming.
Did you try the pizza though at the prison?
You know,
that was good.
I've had a lot of those guys. My name ID is still very high at the prison, and so no, I would not be eating any of their food. I'm not that popular there. I'm still not that popular.
Well, we're going to give away a couple of things. And by the way, Scott Smith, Mayor Scott Smith, he's going to be our guest next month here at Mesa Morning Live. So make sure you come back and see that. And we're going to wrap this up. Grant, don't run away yet.
What are we giving away, Mark?
Nothing to you.
No parting gift?
We've got
one of these mugs. No mug?
You want this mug? Sure, you can have that. Normally I put them on eBay.